at court, that sort of thing, because they don't, from my understanding, that's something that they consider extremely serious.
Stalking.
Well, yeah. So my
Yeah,
attorney
exactly.
said that my attorney said that the doxing is criminal harassment, and so we can actually like file police charges against her for that.
Yeah, that's not civil. That's a criminal matter. Yeah,
it is. It's a criminal matter. And he said, you know, they don't always get handled on the criminal end, but he said the fact that she has done it so frequently, it's showing a pattern. And then she's, you know, she hasn't made any like physical threats to me, but she's always talking about, you know, the fact that she has guns and stuff. And she'll go after her trolls if she needs to and that kind of stuff. And so, you know, she's just very unstable. So, you know, it's, you know, what she's doing right now is trying to like get me to shut up about her. And then she's like doxing me to get people to come after me. But then even she doesn't have anyone that's interested in her anymore. And so she has literally no one supporting her doing this. It's insane.
Do you think that you know, talking about her is at this point, like you said, she's kind of been marginalized after Dr. Phil, after Jeff, and a whole bunch of other, you know, BuzzFeed. I mean, she's got at the point where I don't even know how she even bothers with this stuff anymore. She has to be a diehard believer because I don't think she's really making any revenue off any of this, of anything substantial.
She's never made money.
So she's never made money. So she's just a whack job that believes this for whatever reason. So, I mean, do you think that at this point, you know, giving her exposure is emboldening her more or doing more harm, or do you think keeping on the pressure? Because like she's not going to come after us, and if she did, I'd tell her to fuck off, right? I mean, I'm not going to be intimidated by any stretch of imagination. Plus, I haven't done anything. But do you think that even talking about her is even something? Is it causing more harm than good by giving her exposure? Is what I'm asking.
Well, the thing is, like, nobody was talking about her. We hadn't been talking about her until recently. And that's how this all precipitated, is that I hadn't written about her in months and months. And it was because she became irrelevant. And it was when she started threatening me is when I started speaking about her. And that's when she started getting everybody involved. And so she's yelling at Jeff, and she's yelling at Miles, and she's yelling at you guys, and she's, you know, yelling at the Daily Mail and BuzzFeed and Newsweek and, you know, everybody. And, you know, part of me is like, is she doing this to get media exposure? Is this all like part of her plot to get more attention? I don't know. But there are real consequences because I'm in the middle of this right now, and it's very stressful.
Yeah. Is that a path that you would be willing to go down? Is seeking damages for the harassment and things that she's been putting you through?
Yes.
Good.
We will absolutely file criminal charges if we need to.
Good.
Okay. Now, when you say if you need to, what is going to, like, my question is, why aren't you already pursuing that? Like, that should be something that you're actually
waiting for a better case.
No, our hope is that we don't have to go that route, because our hope is that we don't have to take like the criminal side into it. We will go there. Like if she doesn't stop in a day or two, yeah, I'll be calling the police. I already called I literally already called Canton Police Department. So I've already called them. But I need to file it with my local police department. And it's just more like I'm just been so swamped having to deal with the courts. But yes, what we can do is we can file a police report for harassment, and then request a restraining order, and then also send her a cease and desist letter. But typically what you would do first is send a cease and desist, and then you file charges.
You know, a part of me hope it doesn't escalate to that point, because I can tell it is stressful. There's no question about it. How can it not be? But a part of me still wants to see her get her comeupping, and you know, the Shandafroid in me that if you actually go after her criminally, I'm going to be okay with that, right? So it's one of those things. I don't want you to have extra stress, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could be
I think there's
she needs to get swatted down.
You could be the avenue that puts her away and stops her from harming people.
Right. I agree, because she does harm
unfortunately,
people.
like, he hasn't made any physical threats to me, and so the problem is that, right, but that's the problem with right now. If I filed a report against her, nothing would probably happen criminally. That's sort of where we're at, because it's all just sort of like blanket. You know, you have to establish a pattern of harassment.
Yeah, implied threats don't do very much good. For example, if she starts talking to you, but she also happens to be talking about she's, has guns and she's, a sharpshooter, blah, blah, whatever it is. That's all implicit stuff. The courts don't really care about that. There has to be some kind of explicit threat that they can look at. Because if she says, look, I'm going to find you, I'm going to come after you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do this, she's done at that point. I mean, but that's what something she needs to actually say. So if anybody sees her say anything like that, capture that. That's what would be game over for her.
And that's the problem, is that we live 900 miles apart. And so my lawyer said that, the court isn't going to look at this as like it's menacing and it's a nuisance.
Yeah.
But the probability of her actually like harming me physically is low, very low. And so,
you never want to take that risk, though.
I know.
It's usually the cases where you think it's not going to happen, that it does happen, and nobody wants that sort of surprise. So I would take every single precaution that you can, and act like she is a real dangerous, credible threat that could happen tomorrow, because the ones that you take lightly are always the ones that sneak up on you, and something bad happens always.
Yeah, I live on the same model.
He said based on where we're at right now, we could easily get a restraining order.
Oh, easily. Yeah, that's a given. But I live by the same model that there might be a small percentage, right? There's very, very low probabilities. My address is out there. People can find me, no problem. I mean, you can Google where I live. Be my guest, right? There's a small probability some psycho might one day come after me, but I also have precautions as well. I'm not going to go into details, but I guarantee it, if somebody comes after me, they're probably not going to leave standing up. But you have to treat it like it is.
That's because Steve, you put them to sleep with your theories and definitions.
We're going to talk about philosophy for 2 hours with them. But yeah,
my husband,
Kyle's right. Treat it like a legit threat, even if it is low probability.
It's interesting that you have brought that up. With my line of work, my husband has talked very extensively about wanting to get protection in our home because of the nature of my job. Because he wants to be able to protect the family if he needs to. So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to him doing that if he wanted to. We've never had them in the house, but I mean, I can understand his desire to want to protect me.
Sure. Yeah, everybody in this household that I'm at is ex-military. What does that tell you? And one of the guys is about 280 pounds, all muscle. I mean, those protein drinks, those protein things you buy, like the big 5-gallon protein powder things. He goes through like one of those a week kind of thing. The guy's just, he's he's not going to take kindly.
I think there's something else going on though right now, because she's been deleting everything on her Facebook. She's been like taking down all of her posts. She's been removing her videos. She's like yesterday said that she was like taking her website down. She's going to be like, she says she's writing a new book and it's only going to be available via paperback. She's taking all of her electronic communication off the table. I feel like there's something that she's not telling people. Someone's investigating her right now, and I think there's something maybe that doing this to me is a diversion of some sort. But she's been doing a lot of things like, I need to remove this and I'm going to get rid of that. And she's like, she's taking the form down, and she's like, I just think there's pressure coming from somewhere right now, and I don't know where. I mean, the Attorney General said that they're watching her. The FTC continues to watch her. Local law enforcement know about her, so it's not like she's.
I would encourage your husband to definitely do that, because like I said, it would be better to have have a gun in the house and not need it than to need it and not have it in this situation. When you have somebody that's, especially with the kind of work that you do, and you having a child in the house, that's definitely something I think should be on the table.
I am all
Absolutely.
for having weapons, but my big thing is safety, gun safety. I mean, responsible gun safety, right? I mean, I'm sure your family is, but there's a lot of people out there that own guns that should not own firearms. They don't know the basics of firearm safety. If you have firearm safety, then guns are amazing things. But if you don't know the firearm safety, you should not ever own a firearm or be in a house with one. So
yeah,
all people should be trained in firearms if you go around guns.
Of course, they need to be put up and locked up properly so that your son doesn't have access to it and all that stuff. But I'm all for responsible gun ownership. I do not advocate any situation when you're in a situation where you have people that have guns, have said that they've had guns, have shown that they've had guns, and are a little unstable, and that threat is always there. I do not think that is a situation that you should be gunless in, even if you never need it.
Kyle, you remember one of the old roommates I had? We had firearms around, and we were very happy that we did, in case we ever needed it for this guy. So yeah, I mean, you have to take threats like seriously. I mean, the guy attacked me one time. I literally had to take him down to the ground. So you never know. I mean, even if there's a small possibility, but who knows what this chick's capable of? I mean, she sounds like her brain is being rotted.
Yeah, I think what's really, and I talked to my attorney about this, is what makes me mad is that she's doing this to intimidate me and to silence me. And so if I do all of those things, I basically have to be silent. And that's what pisses me off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, once I take that step, I have to disengage from everything. And I am effectively silenced. And that's exactly what she wants.
Yeah. You can't seem like you're provoking her either.
Correct. I can't keep poking the bear, as he said.
Right.
And I'm really honestly, at this point, I don't really have anything to say about her. This is I'm pissed off that she's suing me. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I
so
think
when are you going to have resolution, you think? Oh, good.
We've covered everything that there is to cover about Jilly Juice up to this point, right? I mean, what else can be said about it?
Yeah.
Not much.
There's nothing at all to say about her. I mean, the protocol doesn't work. She has no basis in understanding of science. I mean, that's all you really have to say.
And she thinks that's libelous. She thinks that's libel by saying that. Hey, Jilly, your shit don't work. It is crap. It doesn't work. I will say it right here and now. It doesn't work. If you can demonstrate that it cures gay people or regrows limbs, I will give you everything that I own. Okay. And if you can't, then you need to shut the hell up and go away and never talk about this stuff again.
She said in a live,
big deal.
She said in a stream yesterday that she's doing this to defend her baby, to defend her protocol, to to defend the science, and that she's going to let the court of law decide if salt is good or if salt is bad, because she thinks that's what this all comes down to, and she thinks it's a belief system. Yeah, she thinks it's a belief system that we think that salt is bad, and none of us are saying that salt is bad. It's the amount of salt.
Yeah, has she ever found a doctor at all that has ever sided with her that thinks that drinking, for example, you drink ocean water. The reason why ocean water kills you is because it acts as osmosis and your intestines dry out. The water will be drawn out of your intestines, drying them up, and you die. This is why you can't drink ocean water. Same principle here. You're drinking a very, very high concentrated solution of salt, which is going to cause intestinal drying. And by the way, you also go through your electrolytes. You can die from having too much salt, not enough salt. So
make you delirious.
Does she find any doctor that ever said that they in any way agree with her and anything? I mean, there's no possible way she has any testimonial.
No. Well, she has, today she has a testimonial that someone's vision got better.
Oh, for
what a dope. She's a Muppet. She's literally the definition of a Muppet.
She is a Muppet.
Oh, man.
Such an idiot.
I just can't stand these people. I don't know, man. I never thought years ago when he was sitting around talking about people that drink fermented cabbage juice, salted. I don't know, man. It's just bizarre to me.
She's in her death row, and that's what I put in the title. The end is near, because this is the death throes of her empire. She is now. She's reacting in a way like an animal does when it's cornered, and she's lashing out at